Iran has unleashed its violent proxies across the Middle East. American service members stationed in Iraq and Syria have come under attack more than 100 times. And the Iran-backed Houthi rebels have been launching so many missiles and drones against cargo ships that several companies have decided to avoid the Red Sea altogether. So far, the Biden administration has done very little to counter Iran. But today, the Defense Department did announce Operation Prosperity Guardian. This is a new effort to protect shipping channels in the region. But just hours later, the military confirmed that there were yet again 2 Houthi attacks on commercial ships. They keep coming. Meanwhile, here at home, another crisis simmers. You will not believe this poll. I couldn't believe it when I read it. This is a Harvard-Harris poll released last week, and it shows that 51% of respondents age 18 to 24 said the best way to resolve the Israeli-Palestinian conflict was for, quote, Israel to be ended and given to Hamas. The same poll showed that 2/3 of young people think Jews, one of the world's smallest minority groups, are, quote, oppressors and should be treated as oppressors. And worst of all, 60% of young people said that the horrific October 7th terrorist attack was, quote, justified by the grievance of Palestinians. Babies were literally put in ovens, and the word justified is something they agree with. Don't forget that a different recent poll showed that 20% of adults under 30 said that the Holocaust was a myth. This is unbelievable. What are our kids learning? This should scare every single one of us. Here now with reaction is Brooke Goldstein of the Lawfare Project and Florida Congressman Michael Waltz. Brooke, I want to start with you. I'm scared for the kind of world I'm going to live in if young people thought that attack was justified.
Kayleigh, I feel you. I am equally as scared, and the clients that I represent are also scared, and they're subjected to violent assaults, discrimination on campuses, retaliation. We have reached a very low where academia is scary. And the issue is here that we are weak. We are weak internally, and we are weak externally. You also mentioned that U.S. troops are being targeted over 100 times. And this all comes back to Iran. Any problem, any radicalization, either even at home or abroad, comes to Iran. Let me explain that. Iran is in Syria. They're propping up Bashar al-Assad. They give him military equipment. They're funding the pro-government militias there. And we also know Bashar al-Assad is engaged in a massive amount of gender-based violence. There's Shia militias backed by Iran in Iraq. We all know that Iran is funding Hezbollah in Lebanon. Iran is funding Hamas in Gaza. And who's Iran's partner? Qatar. Qatar is funding to the tune of billions of dollars anti-American radicalization happening within our borders. And how do we respond to this? Appeasement. The Biden administration just announced that they're going to inappropriately reward the Palestinians with another Palestinian terror state. They created a terror state with Iran's support in Gaza, and now we're signaling, again, appeasement to them, appeasement to Iran, give Iran billions of dollars for a couple of hostages. This is a really scary situation that we're in right now.
Yeah, and Congressman Michael Waltz, I mean, look, so now they're going to take this seriously in the Red Sea and put together this coalition. But you put forward a bipartisan letter with Democrats saying, just go back to designating the Houthis as terrorists, as Trump did. Have you gotten any progress on that?
Yeah, President Trump called them what they were. The Houthis are Iranian-backed terrorists. And in his first months in office, as part of his appeasement strategy, Biden delisted them. And I can't get a straight answer on why they won't call them what they are and send the right signal to the world, not to mention cut off their money and other types of aid. But Kayleigh, here's the fundamental problem. It is the Biden weak appeasement strategy. They couch it in terms that sound innocuous, non-escalation. But really what that is essentially telling the schoolyard bully, no matter what you do, I don't want to escalate. And what does the schoolyard bully take from that? well, I can get away with taking more lunch money and other kids' lunch money and sowing all kinds of mischief. What do you have to do with the bull? You've got to punch him in the mouth. And hopefully, with the moving of ships and the announcing of this coalition, they will do that. But the problem is, as Brooke pointed out, even if you shoot the Houthis that are shooting these missiles, it's still all roads go back to Iran. You have to make Iran impose costs. And then finally, Kayleigh, why should every American care? Well, if global shipping companies are pulling back and 15 to 20% of global trade flows through the Red Sea, insurance is going up, the cost of goods are going up,
right.
The price of oil is going up. We don't feel that just at the gas pump. Guess who gets richer? Iran gets richer, Russia gets richer to fund their terror all over again because of Biden's bad policy. And then he wants Republicans to go to our taxpayers through this supplemental and literally spend against ourselves. It's ridiculous. It's asinine. It's got to stop.
It is. It's fantasy foreign policy. Well, thank you for trying to hold him accountable and say, let's just relist the Houthis. I mean, it seems like common sense. Congressman Waltz.
Well, we've just got to win in
thank you.
2024, Kayleigh. Yes. All right.
That too. Very important.